Very warm Yakshimash to you all. Today we're looking at the Jack Dempsey's book, Championship Fighting, Explosive Punching and Aggressive Defense. As you probably know, Jack Dempsey is one of the more popular fighters from the past. He was known as the fighting hobo because he lived a hobo lifestyle. He left his home at 16. He traveled around states on freight trains, picking up any jobs he could to survive, to earn his living. He would challenge men to fist fights for some low money, and that's how he learned his boxing. He stated both his brothers were professional fighters, so initially they taught him some defense. He was known as the Manassa Maule, because that's where he hailed from Manassa, and also as Kid Blackie. Obviously boxing is like any sport, it's a very tribal sport. You can see that Jack Dempsey is probably of mixed origin, maybe Native American and white or Native American and black. But to this day, some of the sport pundits or fans of the sport from the past treat him as a white fighter, and what normally happens in that case is they're very, very dismissive of his skills. He was a man who displayed a very proficient use of drop step, or what he calls a falling step. It's basically a principle where he falls forward from his fighting stance and catches himself in the last minute with his front foot and his punching fist. So basically all the energy from the drop, from the step forward, lands as he punches. So very devastating punching technique. He also understood other principles of boxing power, which was the leg spring, so obviously launching yourself with the power of your legs. The shoulder wheel, so it's just like a little rotating motion of the shoulder that gives your punch your power. And also a upward surge. So what he means with upward surge is when you throw an uppercut, you normally raise yourself up, so your body weight produces quite a lot of force when you're raising up and throw an uppercut. So that's the upward surge. He in his book he explains that he wants to teach people self-defense mainly. He encourages people to learn to punch first before learning any defense or any stepping. A very important quote. At any rate, I came to the conclusion that self-defense is being taught wrong nearly everywhere for the following major reasons. 1. Beginners are not grounded in the four principal methods of putting the body weight in step, so drop step. B. Leg spring. C. Shoulder wheel. D. Upward surge. So all of those four produce power, and you can combine all of them. 2. The extremely important power line in punching seems to have been forgotten. He explains in the book the concept of the power line. He says it's like a line from your shoulder to the knuckle of your pinky, but obviously he explains that knuckle of the pinky is very fragile, so you should distribute the force when you're punching between the 3 other knuckles above it. Obviously, depending where you train, you've been taught to hit with the top 2 knuckles, either way. So it's an interesting concept. He said if you spread the force equally between those 3 knuckles, you can actually prevent many injuries. And as he was involved in many hobo fist fights, I believe he would know a thing or two about punching whilst protecting your knuckles. He says on a third point that the wholesale failure of instructors and trainers is to appreciate the close cooperation necessary between power line, weight motion, and it results generally in pure punching with hitting. So he explains that the trainers don't understand the combination of the power line principle and the weight in motion principle to produce the hardest possible blows. He explains that explosive straight punching has become almost a lost art because the instructors place so much emphasis on a shoulder roll, so that's rotation motion when you throw a jab, and that the beginners are taught wrongfully to punch straight without stepping. So he emphasizes that for the straight punching a step needs to be taken. That weight transfer, you're transferring the weight of all of your body into your punch. Yes, if you're standing, you planted, you throw a jab or a strong cross, there is power behind that. But if you take a step with that jab or cross, that power is going to be multiplied by your own body weight. Point 5, he says failure to teach the falling step, the drop step, for straight punching has resulted in left jab being used generally as a light auxiliary weapon for making openings and setting up instead of a stunning blow. So you can see from this statement that he considered a jab to be a very efficient weapon, not just a little flick setting up tool, but for a proper punch, just like a cross, because obviously if you put all of those power principles and the drop step into it, it becomes this strong ramrod jab, like the one that Sonny Liston possessed, the one that Daniel Dubois possesses at the moment. So it's quite an interesting concept. Obviously you want to keep your jab as varied as possible. 1, because you don't get timed, and 2, because it can be a very efficient tool at doing everything. But at the same time, remember, your jab can also be a very powerful punch, and because it's closest to your opponent, you're more likely to hit him with a jab than with a cross. Point 6. The beginners are not shown the difference between shovel hooks and uppercuts. Yeah, I think he makes quite a good point in the book. He's got a full article where he explains what a shovel hook is and how to hit it, and how it differs from the uppercut. 7. Beginners are not warned that taking long steps with hooks, just an emphasis on the footwork whilst throwing hooks, and the length of the steps when you're actually throwing the hook. It's quite significant to him, and he explains, the longer the step, the bigger the swing the hook gets. Point 8. The bob weave is rarely explained properly. So basically, he understood that the primary defensive technique, like bob and weave, is not being taught or explained as it should. people are just being taught to catch, parry, and do not utilize those two techniques who allow you very, very powerful counters. The necessity for free knuckle landing is never pointed out, so that's point 9. And again, his concept of the power line, the most power being on the little pinky knuckle, but obviously avoiding punching with that knuckle to avoid injuries. So just transferring the power through your free knuckles. And that obviously has to be pointed out to you and explained at fully. And point 10, it is my personal belief that the beginner should be taught all types of punches before being instructed in defense moves. For nearly every defensive move should be accompanied by or delayed counter punch. You must know how to punch, and you must have punching confidence before you can learn aggressive defense. Yeah, so according to Jack, obviously, defense is the most important part of boxing, and because every defensive movement involves weight transfer, and that weight transfer is producing a large amounts of power, which can be utilized for counters directly with those movements, defensive movements, or straight after. There's 25 chapters in the book, even a chapter on how to actually watch a fight and what to look for, and how to understand boxing in general. He's got a chapter on training, how the training should look like and what the objectives are, which is pretty much to condition your body for fighting, that's number 1, and to improve your workmanship as a fighter. So your physical skill, your attributes, and then it's your workmanship, your craft, your skills. Obviously in modern boxing, the first one has almost completely taken over. You will have boxers with almost primitive skills, but their physicality is gonna be outstanding, and that's what's doing most of the job for them. If you think of people like Deontay Wilder, so long, athletic, with interesting coordination of his body, skill level pretty basic, good understanding of setting up a right hand and lighting right hand, and a lot of heart, and that pretty much made his career, obviously with some nicely cherry-picked opponents. He's got quite a lot of drawings there, and every illustration has got a very good description, so even a layman can understand what Jack means in his explanations. He explains all of the punches, he explains the stunts, he gives you some tips on training, how to make a makeshift leather gloves for training. It's a very, very, very good book if you want to start, and I believe there's quite a lot of boxing that you have to learn yourself. It's not going to be something a coach can teach you. You have to have your own understanding how your body moves, how your body works, how you transfer your weight from one foot to the other, how you rapidly transfer your weight forward and backwards and to the sides, how you duck, do you duck with your legs, do you duck at the waist? I mean, there's quite a lot of stuff you have to work out on your own. You can be told many things in training. You can practice it with your trainers. You can practice it in the gym, but it's very important and crucial for you to understand everything you do to make good progress. One of the points he makes is there is no substitute for sparring. That means sparring is necessary and you have to practice to get the feel for movement, for keeping the distance, landing the punches. You can hit mitts all day, you can hit back all day, but you cannot substitute sparring, having a live opponent in front of you, because in the end it's like a video game. You can have a great controller, the game can be good, but it's about the control, what you're doing, what you inputs you're putting in, how you're executing them, what is your timing, you know, are you making correct decisions at the right times, are you making mistakes, why are you making those mistakes, you know, you can throw 100 jabs and land one, why is that, is it because you're too far away, or maybe you're too close, or maybe you're telegraphing too much. All of those things you have to learn in sparring with your partners, and hopefully if you have a respectful partners and you can do a technical sparring, you can learn a lot without losing many brain cells. I know there's a number of books from Jack Dempsey you can get, but I'll definitely recommend this one. Again, explosive punching and aggressive defense. Get it, read it. If you're a beginner, if you've never thrown a punch in your life, or if you just want to add to your arsenal a number of concepts for creating power, please give it a read. It's not a long book, and you will definitely benefit from it. Thank you.